I'd like to introduce the star guest, Chris Messina. You might have seen him on the Mindy Project or Damages. He's one of my closest friends and a great actor. One of the greatest actors I've ever known. And apparently, a great director as well.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for coming. That was really nice of you guys to show up tonight.
How did you find that kid?
He's great in the film. He's
really good. I mean, did you go on just a long search for that kid?
It actually wasn't that long. Wendy O'Brien, the casting director, brought in a bunch of kids, and he just really stood out. He's like a real old soul.
Yeah.
Special kid, and he was great. The thing I found out about directing him, and actually directing all the actors, was whenever I gave him direction, I would just get in his way.
Yeah.
And when I let him alone, he was remarkable. I saw that in the editing room. I was like, whenever I was talking to him, I was fucking him up.
Did you have to improvise with him to get him from not doing stock line readings or anything like that, or?
Sometimes I would stay off camera, and I would just kind of prod him.
Yeah.
But again, most times he was better if I just didn't say anything.
Yeah.
His first instinct was usually better.
Now, how did you come to this, to direct this film? I mean, what made you want to do this thing? I mean, you had never directed. You've been an actor for a long time, and why this thing in particular? It's a woman's story, you know.
Yeah. Well, I directed a bunch of small plays here in New York, small like black box theater stuff, and I had a great time doing it. And then I think I got most of my directing experience working with actors on their auditions. Are there a lot of actors here?
Any actors? There's one actor. There's two actors, three actors. Any filmmakers? There you go.
Yeah.
Writers. There you go. Directors. Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. So we got a few people in the biz, right? And film critic. Well. Listen,
who's the film critic?
Be nice.
Okay.
Be nice.
All right. Be nice. Be gentle.
Be gentle. So I mean, yeah, you're saying working on auditions with fellow actors was a way for you
like training.
To train to be a director.
Yeah. So those
and directing a play. You directed a play.
Those of you that aren't actors, so when you get an audition, and then you can call you can do it with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your acting teacher. You grab a friend and they coach you, they help you, they put you on tape, and a lot of friends did it for me. Sam's done it for me, but doing it for other actors, you learn. You would be an amazing director. You give great direction.
Well, thanks, but yeah. No, I worked on Frost Nixon with Chris. I remember I had a monologue in a movie called Frost Nixon with Ron Howard, and I went to him because I was nervous about it, and he gave me some amazing notes on it. And I knew before that you were going to be a great director. I knew that. This movie has like a Hal Ashby feel to it. I don't know if that's an inspiration. What are some of the directorial inspirations you think?
Well, definitely Hal Ashby and Robert Altman and.
Yeah, Robert Altman's The Long Goodbye. Like the way you make California look it's very romantic.
Oh, that's.
And is that kind of, were you going for the movie with Elliot Gould or any of that stuff? Did you get inspired by any of that? Or?
I tried not to have a lot of cuts in the movie. I tried to keep it as fluid as possible. The way we worked on the film was a way in which I like to work as an actor, which is a lot of times we had two cameras. So if Sam and I were in the scene, there'd be a camera on Sam and a camera on me. And we shot on the Alexa. And the card in there is 27 minutes long. So we'd shoot for 27 minutes, the duration of the card. And we would do the scene, and then we would improvise and paraphrase. A lot of times we just do nothing. We just do silence. And
can you show that clip? Is it Pablo? Can you show that clip with the kid and Chris? It kind of reminds me of, Kramer versus Kramer a little bit. And your hair was kind of wild like it is now. Like, I don't know if you guys see him on the Mindy Project, but he looks a lot different. Was this a chance for you to do, what's it like directing yourself? I mean, were you able to kind of cut loose in a different way, or?
Yeah, well, Kramer versus Kramer is something we watched a lot. Oh, thank you. Is that why that's up here? In case we get lint on it?
Just to get a little lint on it, yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad they have that up here. I was worried about that before we came.
Yeah, you gotta get the lint off.
Hey, is there going to be a lint brush when we get up there?
Can you do?
Yeah,
can you
let me get you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
You good?
Thank you. Yeah. So so you're directing yourself. I mean, how do you do that? Do you got 2-camera coverage? Do you refer to the AD? How does that work?
Well, so if you came to visit us on set, whenever I was acting, my good friend Matt Del Negro, and sometimes Matt Ross, our friend who directed me in 28 Hotel Rooms, they would come to set, and if you came that day, they would seem like the director. I would set up the shots with the DP, and I would talk to everybody, make sure we were all on the same page, and then I could step away as an actor and prepare, and then come back and not have to worry about directing.
So you would talk to Matt or Matty Ross, and you'd say, "What did you think of that take?" Or would you watch? Was there a monitor? Were you able to watch playback? Or
no, that's the thing. It was we shot this movie in about 20 days, and there was no playback and there were no monitors. So I needed a friend, a great eye that I could trust, and Matt Del Negro and Matt Ross were there, really nice enough that they came and left their lives to direct me. But when I did Argo, Affleck would, it's a bit of a bigger budget than Alex of Venice, Argo, and he could run to the monitor and watch playback, and he was nice enough, he'd bring all the actors with him, and we could watch the monitor, and he could correct, let's try this, let's try that, a little more of this, a little less of that. But on a small movie like this, the filmmakers out there, you don't have the time to do that. If you stopped after every take, you'd never make your days. So if anyone's acting and directing, I would suggest a good friend come and help you out, just someone you trust. Yeah, but we did watch Kramer versus Kramer a lot. In a lot of ways, the movie has a reverse kind of Kramer versus Kramer, where I would be the Meryl Streep character, and Alex is more of the Dustin Hoffman character.
Yeah, I guess you are. That's right.
Yeah.
And what about the casting process? You had all these great character actors. Katie Narrow, she was the initial writer.
Right. Yeah, she
and
wrote
then
the
you had
script.
Jessica do some rewrites.
Yeah, Katie Narrow, who plays in the trailer, she's Mary's sister. She wrote the script. I did a movie called 28 Hotel Rooms with the same company, Electric City, and they knew I wanted to direct, and they gave me this script written by Katie Narrow. And the movie was a collage of all these different characters in Venice, kind of like that movie Singles. But I wanted to get rid of all the different people and focus on the family. That was what was interesting to me. So Katie and I worked for a while on it with her writing partner, and it became a different film based on this family. And then after a while, we brought in Jessica Goldberg. She's a writer that I work with here in New York. She's a playwright, beautiful writer. And she came and she really cracked open the script for us. At that point, we saw that it was a movie, and we decided to make it. So Katie was always, I wanted her to play the sister from day one. In terms of casting, Mary Elizabeth, I don't know, did you see her in Smash? Did anybody see Smash? She's amazing.
Why don't we show that clip with Mary and Chris? Actually, let's show that. Did you offer this to a series of actresses? Did you offer it to Mary? Did she audition for it, or how did that go down? Like, how did you? Because Mary's a pretty established actress.
Yeah.
So I mean, how did that go down?
We were lucky enough. She came in to read. And when you're making a movie of this size and in this budget, maybe any size really, you obviously want a great actress, which Mary is, but you really need, somebody that needs to be there, that has so much care and love for the project. Mary was remarkable every day, and I was blessed to have her. But on top of that, she's just really a kind, sincere, honest, loving person that gave her all to the film. And that's what you want when you make films of any size, but certainly this budget. When you do a movie as an actor, producer, writer, anyone, if you're doing sound on a movie, any of these people, if you go to see this movie and you watch the credits roll, any of these people that came, they came taking a risk in a first-time filmmaker. And anytime you see a movie, it's always a risk. You don't know what you're going to get.
What was the budget on the film?
It was low, you know.
It was low. So these guys everybody's working for free, right?
Everybody, well, they're working for very little money. Yeah. It's a passion project for everybody. You don't know what you're going to get in your director, and you just pray and hope. Because you know, every director sits around, they tell you like, I like Hal Ashby, I like Robert Altman. Listen to this song. I'm going to play this song in the movie.
Yeah, they give you like a tease reel.
Yeah, and then they show you a lookbook of pictures. You're like, I like these kind of pictures. And then
but that doesn't mean they can direct.
Yeah, and then you're like, wow, I like those kind of pictures too. But that doesn't mean they can direct. And you really don't know. You don't know until you see the cut of the movie. A lot of times, I'm sure you've been in this situation. I know I have. Yeah. You see a cut of the movie and you go, oh shit. They like Cassavetes, but they're not Cassavetes.
Or often you'll meet them and they seem like very gentle people, and they get on a set and they're like screamers. You know, they're like tyrants. Yeah. But when you in the meeting, they're really cordial and gentle. You know, like you and I talk about on sets the environment we want to have, and like, you know, sometimes a director will often say no. And you want to do an accent, you want to do a dialect, or you'll have a prop. No, just be yourself. Just be yourself. No accent. That's good. No, just be yourself. Be yourself. You know, like. So, I mean, you being an actor and a great actor, and also being a theater actor from New York, what kind of environment did you want to have on the set for your actors?
Yeah, I wanted to create an atmosphere that there was no, and that there was just yes, let's try it. You know, my favorite thing about acting. Or my favorite thing about all this stuff is collaborating. And I like to have a voice. And I think that everyone should have a voice in the process. If you hire the right actors, if you do your job and hire the right people, and if they're not feeling something, or the scene doesn't make sense to them, or they want to try something, then it's really, I think, your obligation to allow that to happen. A lot of Sam Mendes, I was lucky enough to work with him on Away We Go, and he said, every actor comes with a gift, and it's my responsibility to let the gift out. And that's the bottom line. So any directors, the filmmakers that raise your hands, the best thing you can do, really, I think, you're obviously going to learn the camera, and you're obviously going to learn about stories and how to tell them, but you got to take acting classes, and you got to learn about the actor, because he or she is your collaborator. They're your vessel. They're everything to you, and you need to be able to communicate with them and let them explore, give them wings. By telling an actor no, acting is so sensitive. So you tell an actor just no.
Did you ever say, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
No, but you tell an actor no, and you clip their wings. It's amazing. You see that if you really pay attention, you can see it in their faces. You see them just turn off. But telling an actor, yeah, let's try that. That's not film. That's those digital cameras back there. They're just a card. So if it doesn't work, you do it again. I mean, that's what it is. That's why.
Were you ever tempted to give a line reading, being an actor, or say anything like that? Or
I wasn't on this movie, but I have in the past.
Did you say, more energy?
I didn't say that, because I hate that so much. He knows I hate that.
More energy.
More energy. Yeah, more energy is usually, I don't know what to say. I don't know, something's wrong here, so maybe if I say more energy, that will make sense.
Yeah, that's a bad direction.
It's a bad note.
What was it? Now, how did you get? Hey, you guys want to see one more clip?
Are you bored with the clip?
Let's show the Don Johnson clip. Now, you guys haven't seen the film, right? You haven't seen the film. Is it a spoiler alert if I talk about John Johnson's character, what's happening there? Or not talk about that?
Yeah, don't tell him maybe what happened.
Okay. But now, how did you get Don Johnson to play this part? I mean, he's he's a pretty. I mean, you know, he's a real
Yeah.
iconic kind of star. How did that go down? How'd you get him?
Well, I was a fan of his since Miami Vice. I watched it as a kid. I loved him. I always thought he was great. I thought he was great in Django, and I kind of begged him to do it. I went up to his place in California, and he made me go watch his son's basketball game. And I pretended like I gave a shit, and I'd watch the game, and he'd be like, "Oh, look at him there," and I'd be like, "Oh, he's great, Don. So you want to do this movie, maybe?" You know, and he kind of hemmed and hawed, rightly so. Again, going back to the thing about trusting a first-time filmmaker, he had no idea who I was, you know, and. But eventually he said yes, and I'm thankful to him because he does great work in the movie.
What do you think got him to say yes, without giving away the plot? I mean, what do you think got him to say?
I think partly maybe my persistence and it ended up that we study with a similar teacher. He studies with the teacher
Sandra Seacat?
Sandra Seacat, who's in the movie, and I study with this woman, Kim Gillingham, who studied with Sandra Seacat. So we kind of talk the same language about acting.
What technique is that primarily? Is it Meisner, or what kind of tech, or is it just a mixture of?
It's kind of a mixture of everything, but it deals a lot in dream work.
And isn't that Ryan Gosling's teacher as well, or one of those people?
Yeah.
And dream work, so he's kind of free association and
Yeah.
dream work, yeah.
So we started talking the same language, and I think at some point he said, you know, I'll give this a go. And the first couple of days are extremely nerve-wracking because you are nervous because you're making a movie and you're telling Don Johnson what to do, and he's probably saying, like, in his mind, he's saying, shut the fuck up, you know?
Yeah.
But he was lovely. He was lovely. He was completely open, and he was inspiring, and he was a real leader of the film, you know? Yeah.
That's great.
How you feel? You feel good?
I feel fantastic. Hold on a second.
Thank you. Thank you.
There you go. I could use a little
You
roll,
got-
actually.
You want?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Hold on. Sorry about this.
Now, there's an
Okay.
actor named like Tim Sharp in the film.
Yeah. Do you guys
You
know
had
Tim
mentioned-
Sharp?
He's been on a couple of things. He's a really good character actor, and you told me a funny story. You were up for a TV show that he was cast in, right?
Yeah. So, did you see Enlightened?
With Laura Dern. Anybody see that show? It was an HBO or Showtime or something? Was it Showtime?
HBO. Nobody saw that show? You saw it. Well, go watch that show. It's a really great show, and Laura Dern's amazing on the show. But anyway, I had auditioned for that show, and it was one of those auditions where you walk to your car, and as you're walking to your car, you're like, I'll probably get it by the time I reach my car. I was so confident, and the phone never rang. And then I'm like, by the time I get home,
You'll get that call.
I'll get it, and the phone never rang, and so on and so on. And I didn't get the role. And then, you know, months or whatever passed, and the show aired, and I was sitting there with my wife, and the show came on, and I was like, let me see the asshole who got this part, you know. And out came Tim Sharp, and he started doing the part, and immediately I was flawed by him. He's an amazing actor, and I knew instantly why I didn't get the part and why he did. Anyway, time goes by, maybe a year or so, and I'm holding auditions for the movie, and we're auditioning for this part of Tim in the movie. He works with Mary Elizabeth Winston's character, and in comes Tim Sharp. And I actually told him, hey, I auditioned for your role and didn't get it, you know?
Yeah.
And I was mad at you. But then I saw you act.
Yeah.
And I realized that you crushed it, and
What'd he say? What'd he
were
say?
much better than me. I think I maybe shouldn't have said that.
Oh, because you thought he was like.
Because I think he thought like,
checking him out.
oh, now I'm in this room. I'm gonna audition for this guy, and I got his part, and he's probably mad at me. You know what I mean? But it didn't throw him off at all because he was amazing in the audition, and I gave him the part in the movie. He's incredible in the movie. So look for him if you see the movie, Tim Sharp, and go watch
That's funny. That's
Enlightened, and go check. He's amazing in that as well.
Do we want to take some questions from the audience? Does anybody have any?
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering, you said a lot that the actors and the people who signed for the movie were taking a risk on you because you're a new filmmaker. And I'm just wondering if you felt like you were taking a risk and how you sort of dealt with that in this like new medium, I guess.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yes. You know, it's funny because I sat around forever to Sam and all my close friends and said, like, you know, you watch movies, you know, and you go, oh, what is this? You know, what is this crap? And I can do that. I could, you know what they should have done here? And you have all the answers. You know exactly how to fix it. And then you're on set, you know, and the producer's like, we have 20 more minutes in this location. And the actors are really tired. The sun's going down. And a scene that you really thought worked isn't working on the page. And then you realize how hard it is, you know. So yeah, you're constantly doubting yourself, constantly. And then you go into the editing room and you want to, you know, you really want to like beat the shit out of yourself, you know. It constantly is, but that's the name of the game, wouldn't you say, as an actor? You're constantly wrestling with yourself. Don't you feel that way?
Yeah, sure. You're like you said, you don't have a lot of money. You're losing the light, stuff like that. Yeah.
So yeah, it was always scary to do, but I don't know what isn't. If it's scary, it's probably worth doing.
Well, as you know, I have seen the movie.
Yes.
So I won't give away the ending, but I do think that one of the things that was the great strength of the film was that that role review. There's all these little role reversals throughout the film, and I think, especially your character, having been a house husband myself, I understand what you were trying to get at, and I would like you to talk a little bit about approaching that character. And actually, Sam, I think you've done some parts where there's like a role reversal. It's sort of an unexpected flip on what people expect out of you. So I think that's something that I think both of you have addressed in your career, and I think it'd be interesting to talk about.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times with acting is if you do something halfway decent in Hollywood, they usually just want you to keep doing that. So that's just a hurdle for any actor. If you know, certainly for me, I was on 6 Feet Under. I was this Republican lawyer, and people liked the show, and you know, it was great writing, and then therefore everybody wanted me to do that. It's like a cursing and a bless in a weird way. But in terms of this part, you know, what you can probably kind of tell from the clips is my character walks out on his wife. You know, one of the number one rules of acting is don't judge your character. You know, if I say he's a bad man, and that's something I wanted with the film. All these characters are going through change. Some of them are deciding to change, and some of the change is kind of thrust upon them. In this particular movie, my character is deciding he wants change. And I kind of wanted the audience, although I'm sure some people will think he's an ass, but I wanted the audience, for all the characters, to think, because it's the kind of movies I like to watch, that they're just human. They make mistakes. They're also good people. You know, there's a lot of people here that have been in, I imagine all of us, we've all seen bad breakups. We've been either broken up with or have done the breaking. It's painful. Any kind of change, as beautiful as change is, it's painful. And that's what we were exploring in the movie. But does that kind of answer your question?
But also, I think...
Yeah.
But I will add, but also the fact that he's playing the house husband.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't want to be where he's at. I mean, this particular couple was, you know, they got together early on, and they've been together for a while, and he doesn't want to do that anymore. Now, I'm not saying the way he does it and goes about it has to sit well with everybody, but sometimes, unfortunately, I think we might all know this. Or think this. Maybe it's just me, correct me if I'm wrong. If you're in something and you're stuck, unfortunately sometimes blowing it up is maybe the only escape, you know, and that's painful for everybody. So I'm not saying he's right or wrong, I'm just saying he needs a change, you know.
I love Iron Man, love Way Back, love Argo. Argo is one of my favorite movies of 2012, and Robert Downey Jr. is my favorite actor. For Sam and Chris, what and Way Back is another favorite of my 2013. What were Robert Downey Jr., Anna Sophia Robb, and Ben Affleck like from your point of view, and how were they compared to these actors that you worked with for this movie?
Ben Affleck, Robert Downey, and who else?
Anna Sophia Robb.
Oh yeah, they were awesome. They're all lovely. Yeah. What do you think of?
They're good, great. They're all great people. I love all those people. I mean, how are they different from these actors?
Yes.
I don't think they are. You know, they're all very. Can only speak for the movie you named, Argo.
Yeah.
All the actors in that movie were similar to these actors. They're just actors going through their work, doing their work, going through their process, and wanting to deliver the character in the best shape and form they can. You know,
Actors are usually pretty nice because they're so grateful to be there. You know, they're so lucky to be doing that job. I mean, it's only 90% of actors are out of work. So if you're working, you're in the elite. You know, so they're usually, if they're not nice, then that's not good.
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Hi. So, Chris, you've had the opportunity to work with Aaron Sorkin and Mindy Kaling both, who are very polarizing and different personalities in the kind of projects that they make. So, has working with both of them influenced your approach to directing a movie at all? Have you learned anything from them? Because I've read a lot of interviews where you say, oh, Aaron comes in very differently towards rehearsals, and Mindy and her writers have a very different approach.
Yeah.
How has that influenced you in your direction?
Yeah, that's a great question. They're very different. Mindy has taught me a lot about story because she's my scene partner. I'm with her every day. She's right across from me every day, and I get to watch her move her way through the episodes and what she wants and the arcs of the characters and the arcs of the storylines, and it's really, really fascinating to watch, and I've learned a lot from her while she does that.
Do you think there's more improv with Mindy than with Aaron Sorkin? Like Aaron Sorkin, you got to sort of stick to the words. Right?
Yeah, with Mindy, it's all written and it's beautifully written, and we always do the writing. But she's an incredible, and our cast, they're all incredible. They're great at improv. So they just go and go and go, and the stuff that comes out of their mouth is hilarious. So that's the Mindy project. And Sorkin, also incredible, amazing mind. But it's, if there's a period, there's a period. If it's an exclamation point, it's an exclamation point. And they're both incredibly nerve-wracking because comedy is not something I honed as an actor or something that I feel most comfortable in. Because of Mindy, I've learned a lot about it, and I have so much respect for it and love for it, but it's not my comfort zone. And Sorkin is like doing a play. I mean, you can't, you got to come in ready to go. And I had a terrible experience, I've told you, on Aaron Sorkin I think it was the second season. Actually, I was preparing this movie.
Are you doing post or?
I was just prepping to go here.
Oh, that's right.
I was prepping to go here, and I just finished the first season of the Mindy Project, and I was shooting the newsroom, and they said, we want you in the finale, Chris. And I was very happy. I said, oh, great. I said, do me a favor and don't write me much, because I got a lot going on. Okay, yeah, it's going to be just a little scene in the finale. I got the script, it came to my house, and I was like, okay, great, I can do that. And I was prepping my movie. And then about 3 days before, the scene became here to here. And I might have asked Sam, I asked some friends, I asked my wife, I said, should I call them up and say, I can't do this, I can't prepare this? And I think they said, yeah, you might have said, yeah, you should do that. But I didn't. I wanted to be the hero. And, So I went to set that day, and I literally had like an actor's nightmare. And I couldn't remember any of the lines. I'm acting in front of Jane Fonda, Marcia Gay Harden, Jeff Daniels, Emily Mortimer, the entire cast. Did they watch the newsroom? Okay, so I'm in the bullpen. You know the bullpen where everybody is? There's all these extras. Everybody that works on the newsroom is there, and over and over and over again, I can't get the lines right. At one point, the hair and makeup people came over and started like rubbing some kind of calming cream on my hands. At that point, I was like, wow, I must be really fucked. They're rubbing calming cream on my hands. And
Are you sweating? Like
I'm
sweating?
like Albert Brooks in broadcast news. I'm just flop sweating. And Marcia Gay Harden at one point, Oscar winner, Marcia Gay Harden is like, when you say, she's trying to help me memorize, when you say this, it means that you, and then that, and I'm like, all I could see is her lips like, it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. The next time I saw Jeff Daniels was the premiere of season 3 of the Newsrooms, and he said, hey Chris, how you doing? I said, good. He said, do you need any cue cards for the scene? He was a lovely guy. He was just fucking with me, you know. I said, no, I got an earwig in my ear for the scene, so we're all set. But it was a scary. That's like a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. Yeah, it's an actor's nightmare. Yeah, that's definitely an
It's no
actor's
fun.
nightmare. It's hilarious. In retrospect.
In retrospect, it's hilarious. In the moment, I thought I was gonna have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Hi, Chris. I was wondering if you can tell a little bit more how you got involved with the project, how you went from being an actor to get his job as a director, and how you get the producer to trust you.
How you get the producer? Are you a filmmaker?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I knew the producers because I did a movie with them, and I kept saying how great of a filmmaker I would be. That's funny. But they somehow, Lynette Howell, Crystal Powell, Jamie Patrickoff, Electric City, they make great movies. Half Nelson, Blue Valentine, Beyond the Pines. Somehow they trusted me with the material. But yeah, I mean, if you have a script, you got to send it out. You got to get it. Anybody out there, look, this is the bottom line. Look around you. Look at Mindy Kaling, Lena Dunham. Look at Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, Good Will Hunting, Stanley Tucci, Big Night, Billy Bob Thornton, Sling Blade. You have to do it yourself. Any filmmakers out there, whether you're an actor, filmmaker, or just a filmmaker, you have to make it yourself. In this store alone, on the iPad, on the iPhone, I just recently shot something on the Sony A7S. There's so many cameras. It doesn't need to be high tech. Grab your friend, make it. Don't sit around. You sit around forever and say, we need that, but I need this and I need that. Just make it. Just make the movie. Make the movie. Make it. Don't sit around for these jackasses to allow you to make the movie. Make the goddamn movie. Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
I'm just curious to know how you dealt with the transition between actor and director. Like, was it weird being in role in front of the camera and then suddenly being behind the camera? And like, how did you deal with that?
Yeah, that was the worst part of doing the movie was acting, to be honest with you. It was the least fun I had. But like I said, I had my friends directing me, so that made a difference. Yeah, it was the least fun. I wanted to direct, you know. But you get, you know, I got used to it. If you see the film, I only have a small part, thankfully. The Katie who wrote the movie wrote me the part. She wrote it with me in mind. I tried to get out of it. I thought of every actor who would be better than me. There's a long, long list. And the producers, you know, they kind of stuck by me playing it, and I'm glad I did. Maybe one day I would direct myself in a bigger part. So I'm glad I kind of dipped my toes in.
Did you rehearse? Did you rehearse a lot, or did you rehearse on the day?
The girls and the sisters and I met beforehand. You know, when you're doing a small movie like this, I like to rehearse kind of before we're shooting.
Yeah.
So you get it out of the way, because actors have a lot of, you know, I don't like this line, the scene doesn't make sense, and then you can make the changes 2 weeks before, a month before, you know. So then on the day we could just move.
Would you film the rehearsals, or would you just kind of let them riff and make it the one?
I would film the rehearsals without them knowing.
Oh.
You know, a lot of times I would just...
I have a camera in my hair.
You do?
Right now.
You're filming me?
Filming you.
It's nice not to see people act, you know? That's the thing about what I was saying before about the 27-minute takes, is if you put a camera on either one of us or anybody here for 27 minutes, eventually you forget the camera's there. Eventually you stop giving a shit. Eventually you stop acting. And those are the moments you catch. I'll say one more thing. I had the great fortune of hanging out with Francis Ford Coppola before I met the movie, and he said to me, "Do silent takes. Do them.
Yeah, that's great.
Do silent takes." Any filmmaker out there, because you're cutting the movie, right? And your scene's not working, but usually it's the dialogue that's not working. So if we're cutting the scene right now, and I cut to Sam doing that, it's so valuable to me. I can cut to Sam doing that anytime I want in the scene when the scene's not working. So and also in the silence, in film acting, and it's in the silence. I mean, there's so much going on in his face right now, behind his eye. He's going, "Let's shut up, Chris. Let's get out of here. Stop talking." But there's so much going on, and if you cut to that, you can create a lot. So anyway, guys, I want to thank Sam. This is my best friend in the world, one of the greatest actors we have.
So proud
It's
of
very
you.
nice of him to do this for us.
So proud of you.
I love
man.
you.
So proud of you.
And thank you guys for coming out. I really appreciate
Go
it.
see the movie. Go see Alex at Venice.
It opens
Great movie.
April 17th. It's on VOD and iTunes. Go check it out if you like it. Tell your friends we need all the love we can get. Thank you, guys.